Alright, I guess I'm gonna call this video War Thunder Basics since there's a few of my friends that want to know what War Thunder's like. Uh, well, I shouldn't say what War Thunder's like, how and what is War Thunder? How is it played? What are the basics of it? The very, very basics. We'll start with Germany because, just saying, World War II, they're pretty much the, I guess you'd say, most recognizable war tanks, war vehicles. So, let's look here. Let's go 5.3. All right. So, where do I start? I guess I'll start with battle ratings. Battle ratings are a way to rate each and every single vehicle in War Thunder. Simple, that kind of makes sense from the name. It goes from 1.0 all the way up to 11.0. Now, 1.0 is basically your first tanks ever made in real life, and like the first tanks ever produced, real tanks besides World War One concepts. These are mostly World War Two tanks that were at the beginning of the war. Uh, Hitler's Blitzkrieg, at least for Germany, America's first vehicles, Russia's, you know what I mean there. Uh, so you have, that means PZ2C doc. You'll get like a free one like that. If you chose to play Germany for the first 3 matches or whatever the requirements are, you'll have one for the USA, you have one for the USSR, which is Russia, have one for Great Britain, Japan, China, Italy, France, Sweden. You'll get, if you choose those for your first vehicles and you play those for, I think, 3 matches or something like that, you'll get a fourth free vehicle. Although you don't need to put any work in. That will be similar BR to what you have here. So, what battle rating BR stands for, as I said earlier, is 1 to 11.0. As you see from looking at this, it goes one. Let's see here. Right here. As you see, it goes 1.0, 1.0, 1.3, 2.7. So as you can see here, it goes 1.3, 1.7, 1.3, and then 2.0. Usually, how each battle rating will go is it'll go 0.3 or 4 higher each time. I think that makes sense of how I'm saying it. So, as in, when you unlock 1.3, usually your next vehicle is 1.7. At these lower BRs, as they're called, they're not going to be as straight because some vehicles are strong down here, some vehicles aren't strong. So, and a battle rating also determines what other vehicles you face against. So, here, a Panzer IV F1, PZ IV F1, Panzer IV F1, that stands for. See how it says 2.0? You will only, I shouldn't say only, you will see other 2.0 vehicles, and there are times where you might get down tiered. It's called down tiered, where you will see 1.0 vehicles, things like this running around, or they will get up tiered. Either way, you might see vehicles like this running around as somebody's main vehicle. Uh, you might get, there might be times where you see 3.0 vehicles. You will only ever get 1.0 higher than what you currently are. So, if I'm playing 5.7, I might see a 6.7 vehicle that I have to face against. And the game compensates you for this in battle, but that's a different story for a different time that I'll explain later. Uh, So 5.7 might see, let's see the American equivalent of 5.7. It might see a Sherman M4A376W. It might see a 4.7 M4A176W Sherman, or it might even see up to a T26E1-1, which is a Super Pershing. That is how battle ratings work. It determines what vehicles you're facing. There are going to be times where you see, where you might be in a 6.3. No, I shouldn't say 6.3. Where you might be in a 6.7 vehicle. Why can't I find one of? We'll say the M56. There'll be times where you see, in an M56, you'll see maybe something. What's German? That's 7.7. Uh, you might see a BMP1. Now you're thinking. Now, at least when I was playing the game, I'm thinking, well, that's completely inaccurate. These vehicles would never see each other. That's correct. But if you were doing this based off of historically, these a lot of these vehicles wouldn't be fair. If we're doing this historically, Tiger 2s would reign supreme on Shermans. It would reign supreme on these guys, so that's why we don't. That's why Gaijin doesn't do it historically. Uh, they do it by giving the vehicle BR, and if that BR is too low, they look at its stats and then they'll put it high. They will make the BR higher. If the stats say it's doing bad, they might put the vehicle lower. That's the concept of BR. That's the best I got. You will never be in like a 3.7 vehicle and then run into a 6.7 vehicle. You will never see it that far up. The only time that'll happen is if you don't have other vehicles and you decide to bring the 3.7 vehicle. That, at that point, is your own fault. Not Gaijin's fault. There are vehicles that are going to be FBRs where they are way too powerful for you, but they... So, like, how do I explain that part? Let's see here. So, actually, this is a decent example. 7.0, IS6. Yes, it's a premium. So then we'll do 7.0 IS3. This thing is... This thing is armored to the core. Like, for conventional rounds that are not chemical, this thing is very hard to kill. So, that being said, there might be some times where you're in a vehicle that cannot kill it. Okay? But that doesn't mean you can't do other things better than it. So it might be at the same BR as you are. Even though you can't kill it. That doesn't mean someone else at the same BR that you can kill can't kill it. So in other words, how it's like a battle of, like, it's like UFC fights almost. There might be a guy who will do, say, guy number one, tank number one could kick tank number two's ass, but tank number two cannot kick tank number one's ass. But tank number two could kick tank number three's ass, and tank number three could kick tank number one's ass. So in other words, you will all be equal, but you might not be directly equal as another vehicle. So an IS3 here is not directly equal to M46 Pershing, which I gotta find it for you guys. Hold on, sorry. Here's, yeah, M46 Pershing, the tech tree variant. You are not directly equal as each other, these two vehicles. But the M46 Pershing is lighter armored, faster, and has better upgrades for its gun. Debatable on whether it's directly better. An M46 could kill a IS-3, but it would be difficult without upgrades.